Hi,
My name is Katya.
my name is Iñaki and I am from Spain.
I'm from Russia. I'm from Moscow.
Michael Oliver.
My name is Daphne.
I'm from Australia.
I'm from the Netherlands.
My name is Maya.
My name is Natasha Natarajan.
I'm from Israel.
I'm from India.
Sam Said.
My name is Marian.
My name is Maria.
I'm from Heidelberg in Germany.
Pakistan.
I'm from Suzhou, China. It's near Shanghai.
Dame de mon cœur, очень свирепо. T'as déjà dépassé 90 ans, t'as l'air très jeune.
Yeah, when I came here, I wasn't speaking English. Like, I didn't know even how to say, how are you and how old are you. Then, so it was, of course, it was difficult for me.
Hi, what's your name? Nice to meet you. How are you? That's it. And then when you say something else, they'd be like, yeah, yes. And they'd like smile a lot.
Understanding was a difficulty, yes, because the thing is that how people spoke English it was such a subjective thing because it depended so much on their background and how much they have been affiliated or associated with English. I didn't have that much of a problem, but it seemed that other people did.
I don't know, when I arrived to my room, the first time, and it was the first time I was living in a different place than home, it was very hard because the three people who were living with me, my three roommates, I couldn't understand a word of what they were saying, and they were making a very big effort in speaking slowly in English, but for me it was very hard to understand and I couldn't get what they were saying. And it's very frustrating sometimes.
It was not very difficult to adapt to English, I think, because where I'm from there's a lot of English in movies and in music, and everyone knows some basic English, and it wasn't much of a problem. It was more of a problem to speak it all the time, and sometimes to always express yourself in this language that is not really your first language.
but I think it's very, very effective. It's one of the best ways to really, really learn language because you have to use it. There's no other way. You cannot say, oh, what is this in English, in my language, because there are no other Hungarians here. So you have to use English, and that's why it is efficient.
It was really difficult, and honestly I didn't expect that difficulty because I thought my level was sufficient. And I realized that studying language in a class and being successful and getting high grades and being really good at it, it's not enough for speaking fluently and actually understanding people, because this community is actually very special because it's not just knowledge of English, it's understanding different accents, because there are people of 75 countries all over the world. They have different accents, they have different levels of English, they've got different vocabularies.
Well, yeah, it was difficult. There were some communication barriers, some accents I couldn't understand. Everyone had a different accent when they spoke English, and so it was hard sometimes to understand other people. Also, some words or some sentence structures were translated, people translated from their own languages, and so it wasn't as clear. But I think I got used to it, especially to the accents. I'm used to them now.
I think for us, we gain a lot because although I've spoken English all my life, in classes at least, I mean, I can say it's my first language, but when I have come here, I've spoken to them, there's a lot of clarity that has come in, a lot of confidence that has come in. Many words I've picked up, many expressions I know to exactly express how I feel.
Like uncertain what I'm saying. I keep forgetting some phrases. And for example, I had my oral presentation in self-taught recently, and I had to speak about some books. And I had to carry out some analysis, some serious analysis, and I couldn't remember the word climax. And I remember that in English, but I couldn't remember the word in Russian. And I got completely lost and disappointed and really sad because that's an easy word, and I couldn't just say climax in English, and I got stuck for a minute or so, and then I tried to explain it in some other words. But basically, it's not that I don't remember that, but sometimes it's like a blackout, and you just don't remember a particular phrase or a word. But it will come soon when I'm back.
Sometimes, after living 2 years speaking only in English, not only but mostly in English here, because sometimes I speak Spanish. When I speak Spanish, I use many English words, and because maybe I'm trying to express something about which I thought in English, and therefore it's very hard to find the Spanish words sometimes. So I have the feeling that my skills in Spanish are much worse than when I arrived.
I mean, aside from the fact that I'm sometimes not able to express it in words, to express some facts in English, I also noticed that I can't convey the actual emotions that I feel, or not as good as I would, not as well as I would be able to in German.
I think all the three of us come here. So when we hear daily or interacting with each other, English is the very basis of communication. Also, when you're interacting with each other, you can get I think your language skills. Say you're speaking English, so your whole English broadens quite a lot. So you get to know different accents, different ways of phrasing a word, different expressions, different slangs, for example. So that definitely widens the perspective of the language.
I think most of the time English is the way in which I express myself, and it's very useful. Even sometimes when I'm speaking Dutch, I use English words because that's just closer to me now. But when I'm really emotional, and especially about something at home, I turn to Dutch. And I also swear in Dutch a lot. It's nice because people can't hear what you're saying. So.
Yes, when I get, I don't know, if someone steps on me, I automatically shout something in Spanish, like puta or whatever, because it's like very painful. So at that moment English doesn't come to me. Or when I'm very, very happy and I read very good news on the internet or whatever, then maybe I shout again in Spanish. But if I'm talking to a non-Spanish friend, then I immediately change to English. But yeah, the immediate reaction to good or bad news is always in Spanish.
Also, well, it's also a mean of getting to know another culture, because here, even though people are from many different parts of the world, they speak English. So English is the media by which we're getting other cultures.
I think language is a really very significant part of one's culture. those stereotypes as well. And I think they wouldn't vary much from the common stereotypes. For example, we have a lot of Spanish speakers here. And I think their language really suits them because for me, Spanish is the language of passion, of love, of summer, and like of beautiful people who are really loud, who like to dance and who like to sing.
Or for example, you mentioned French, and when I hear a French person speaking, it's just, oh, it's so soft, gentle. He might be cursing, but I would say, oh, it's very soft and gentle.
Paris, oh Paris, la dame de mon cœur, la Tour Eiffel. T'as déjà dépassé 90 ans, mais t'as l'air très jeune et tu te tiens tout à fait droit. Franchement, elle n'est pas trop sympathique. On dit parfois, elle n'est pas belle. Mais pourtant, la vie serait un peu différente sans ma Tour Eiffel.
And for me, Hindi is a language of gestures. Because whenever they speak, they move a lot, they use their hands. And and it's also the body language, because I cannot separate the body language of Hindi speakers and their language, even though it might be Marathi or some other language like Malayalam, or they use their body a lot. And for me, these are things that cannot be separated.
I feel English that as a more functional language because it's maybe easier to learn than other languages and more simple, so I see it as a more functional language, something that people use with communication intentions.
Добрынюшке-то матушка говаривала, да и Никитичу-то матушка наказывала. Ты не езди-ка далече во чисто поле, на ту гору досорочинскую, не топчи-ка ты молодых змеенышей, не выручай-ка полонов да русских. Не купайся, Добрыня, в пучай реке.
There is a different tone, a different atmosphere that's generated by English and by Hebrew. I find Hebrew generates a more warm atmosphere. It's in keeping with our culture. Our culture back home is very warm. English, I find, is less so. Sometimes I find it less personal, or at least the English words that I would use might be less personal because I have not spoken it my whole life consistently, and so I don't know the words maybe that would make it more warm to me, more friendly.
كان ما كان يقولون إن عاش في بلد من بلاد شاه عظيم كان أغنى وأقوى حتى ما كان منتهى لثروته وسلطته كان يكفي أن يريد حتى شيئا صغيرا فقد عرف وزرائه الحكماء ماذا يريد.
I noticed that I would say English is more vague. It doesn't go in depth. It doesn't go into the details really. And I would say German is really exact. It really says what it means. It doesn't try to neglect anything, or it's really in detail.
For example, what you said, German is a very harsh language, and French is very charming in some way. But then I think you get rid of it very easily.
Unsere Erkenntnis, die nicht auf die sinnliche Anschauung gebaut ist, verliert ihre Stütze. Die Idee der Seele und die Idee des Gottes können nicht empirisch erprobt werden. Es ist aber auch unmöglich, das Dasein des Gottes durch Vernunftbeweisgründe zu prüfen. Metaphysik als ein rein theoretische...
And there's so many people who hear it. So people can form very easily, they can form opinions about how the language sounds. Yeah, things like that, they're definitely there, and they're quite apparent as well. So you just need to listen, and you hear all these different opinions of how languages and intonations or accents sound.
蝴蝶，蝴蝶，你好美丽，因为有了你，这片森林变得更加动人。 谢谢你，谢谢你的出现，感动你的出现，我会记住你的出现，生活因你而美丽。
To a certain extent, an ability to speak a second language, in that case English, really broadened my realization that there are different people in the world, because the language made me meet so many people here. And speaking English gives me a wonderful opportunity to explore the world and to know more people.
I think the fact that English is such an international language is very post-colonial. It's very hierarchical. It reflects how much power the US has and how much power English-speaking countries have. And it would be nice I think it would be more equal if there was such a language that would combine all the languages. I would like that, actually.
I think it will be English, because it's the easiest language to study compared to Chinese or Hindi or Spanish.
I think English will still be dominant. It's the language that most people expect you to know. It's, when you're at an airport, you speak English, right, naturally, and so I think that will still be most dominant.
आरंभ में कुछ नहीं था, सूरज नहीं था, चांद नहीं था, सितारे नहीं थे, सिर्फ आप था जो सारी सृष्टियों के पहले था। आपने आग को उत्पन्न कर दिया, उस आग के ताप के जरिए आप में सोने का अंधा पैदा हुआ था। तब साल नहीं था, क्योंकि कोई नहीं था जो समय नाप ले सके, पर वो समय जिसको हम अभी एक साल समझते हैं, यह सोने का अंधा अगाध समुद्र में तैर रहा था। एक साल के बाद सोने के अंधे में से ब्रह्मा निकल गया। उन्होंने अंधे को 2 टुकड़े करके तोड़ दिया। ऊपर का टुकड़ा आसमान हो गया और नीचे का पृथ्वी। उनके बीच ब्रह्मा ने आकाश रख दिया। उन्होंने दिशाएं और समय भी सृष्टि कर दिया। ये ब्रह्मांड की सृष्टि की कहानी है।